So, after recently reading Accessibility for Everyone by Laura Kalbag, I've become a lot more aware of all of the accessibility shortcomings in my own Angular and user interface architecture. And one of the things that's jumped out to me recently is that links that use this click event handler in Angular don't have tab-based accessibility, don't really have keyboard-based accessibility at all. So I wanted to see if I could retrofit my Angular application using a simple directive that would enhance the click-based links with keyboard-based accessibility. So to demonstrate, I have two sets of links here. The bottom row is sort of the normal click-based behavior, and the top row is the thing I have augmented. And if I click into the browser and I hit tab, you'll see I go to my first kind of control, and then here you can see that I can tab through this first set of links. But now when I get to the end here and I hit tab again, notice that the second set of links does not gain focus. I'm not even quite sure where the focus is at this point. It's somewhere in the browser Chrome. But again, if I click into the browser here and I hit tab, again we can see we can tab backward and forward through the links, but then the second set of links doesn't have any tab accessibility. So let's take a quick look at what's happening in the markup. Here is my app component, and here are the two sets of links. And as you can see, both sets use this collection of click events, and this is very standard in our Angular applications. We're using a click to bind some sort of action. In this case, I'm just logging the click to the console, which you can see here, right? If I click, but now what you also see is if I tab and then I just hit enter, I can click, and if I hit spacebar, I can click, right? So I can click this with the keyboard, I can navigate with the keyboard, and here at the bottom, we're using the same thing. You notice that I have this X no tabbing attribute, and that's an escape hatch so that I don't actually apply the retrofitting directive. So what is the retrofitting directive? The retrofitting directive is super simple. It doesn't even have any internal logic. It is just a collection of host bindings. But first, let's look at the selector. So notice that I'm going to be selecting anchor tags that have a click attribute. But because I don't want to override any of the existing functionality in the link, I'm going to omit links that have an href. I'm going to omit links that have a role. I'm going to omit links that already have a tab index. And then I'm going to omit links that have that X no tabbing attribute. And that's that escape hatch that we're using here. Now, once we have been able to target the desired links that have the clicks and don't have the overriding attributes, one, I'm going to add the tab index of 0. Tab index tells the browser that this is a tab accessible element, and the 0 tells it to use a tab ordering based on the DOM's natural ordering. Then for accessibility for the WAI-ARIA, I'm using role of button, and that's essentially telling accessibility devices that this link isn't truly a link in so much that it doesn't link to a resource, but it triggers a discrete action within the application. And that'll give us, so the tab gives us the tabability. The role tells the screen readers what this element is actually trying to do. And then what we're going to do is bind to the space and enter keys in order to cancel the default behavior and then turn around and trigger a click. So in this case, when I hit enter, the enter actually becomes a click on the link. When I hit spacebar, the spacebar becomes a click on the link. And that's what allows me to tab here and then hit spacebar and enter, and you can see that I am triggering the click on that particular link. And that's all there is to it. And to me, when I see something like this, I'm reminded of just how powerful the concept of directives in Angular are. They're such a core part of the Angular experience that I think it's very easy to be not cognizant of just how much work you can get done with directives. And in this case, what we're seeing is that I'm taking an entire application, an entire Angular application, and seamlessly, without having to change any markup, I'm retrofitting that application with keyboard accessible links. And I mean, that's kind of mind-blowing if you ask me. To me, directives are what make Angular the leader in the JavaScript framework landscape. I mean, that's just my opinion. I happen to love Angular, so I've happen to know a lot more about it than I do about any other framework. But I don't know if there are other frameworks that allow this to happen so seamlessly, right? Without having to jump through hoops to like create higher order components or bind global key handlers or to do some sort of like post-rendering progressive enhancement of how the links work. This just seamlessly and implicitly binds all of the settings that we have configured here at runtime to these links, and then makes these links tab accessible. So I don't know, just very exciting, and certainly something that's helping me become more cognizant, more aware of the accessibility of my Angular applications.